Very good morning, friends. We'll start with the today's session with database architecture. In that, we have to cover distributed databases. I'm Mahesh Sangvi, working as professor and head, Department of Computer Engineering, SNJP's Letsow KPGN College of Engineering, Chandigarh. If you observe the word distributed databases, I have already discussed about the importance of distribution and why the distributed network is so famous nowadays. This is the today's outline where we'll have a discussion on the last session. Then we'll discuss about the data fragmentation, data transparency, and finally, we'll end up with data security. Let's have a discussion on what the distributed system. Whatever which is in front of you is distributed system. You can understand here there is one communication network, and in that communication network different sites are connected. So here site 1, site 2, site 3, site 4 and site 5 are connected, and every site has their own database. So this particular symbol is of database. Okay, this particular symbol is of database, so that you will understand this is the symbol of database. So every site is connected with its own database. So let's have a discussion on this particular part, like why there is of this distributed database system. Now you can understand that from this is what the site 1 which is connected, site 2 is also connected, okay, and entire part which is connected is via communication network. So from this communication network, you can understand that this particular things can be, means this communication network is your computer network, and all these sites can be your computer or normal computer, or it can be a node. Okay, so all these sites are connected, and every site has its own database. Okay, so this is what the concept of distributed database. I hope it is quite clear to you that it is simply a connection of network where every site will have their own databases, or there may be possibility like site 3 and site 4. Okay, they don't have their own database, but they may access database of maybe site 5, maybe site 1, or maybe of site 2. So it's up to the system, and it's up to what the like which particular site will access which type of database. So here we need to understand why there is need of distributed databases. Distributed databases is normally needed when suppose we want to have a big giant task given to us, and we have to execute that task within a fraction of a minute. I request everyone to please mute yourself, so it will be better. Okay, so you can understand here that when site 1 is connected with site 2, whenever there will be communication of site 1 with site 2, it will be always via this communication network. Okay, so site 1 will not be aware where exactly site 2 is located, and site 2 is also not aware where exactly site 1 is located, but they can communicate with each other via this communication network. And that is the reason this computer network can also be known as communication network, because the main aim is sharing of data or sharing of information. So this site, and now when we are talking about distributed database system, when I add a word distributed database system, every site will have some database, or there are certain sites, they may be connected, they may be accessing database of some other site. That may be possible. Now the advantage of distributed database system. Suppose for example, you have one database stored here. Suppose DB1 is stored here. Okay. Now this DB1 is accessible. Okay. It is accessible to site 2. Okay. To site 2 via this site 1. So site 2 may access database DB1, or which is located at what? Site 1. So here the best part will be that whenever site 1 will demand any data of database 1, site 2 will not be aware whether it is available at local end, means whether it is available at my site or whether it is available at any other site. Okay, so it will not be aware, site 2 will not be aware, but site 2 will get access of DB1. So that's the beauty, and we can call it as what? Transparency. So let's look at on this particular part and why people are using this. Now, there may be possibility, we may what? We may copy this DB1, okay, this DB1 at other sites also. For example, there will be possibility that DB1, its copy is available here at site 5. So at site 5, we may get the copy of DB1, and due to that copy, there may be possibility that we may get the copy. Means suppose this particular site failed, this site failed, it is getting down. In that case, we may get access of that copy, access of that particular database by using site 5, because its replica, its backup copy is available here. So I can say it is highly available. So availability will be what? Very high. So that's the beauty, and that we need to study. So here you can understand, my dear friends, by using this particular part, that the benefits of distributed database system will be that we can have a multiple copies, or we can break down database into different copies. Now, how to break down is the biggest challenge. So in distributed database system, you need to understand there is concept of data fragmentation. Okay, there is concept of data fragmentation, and this data fragmentation concept is again very useful, and that will help you to understand the beauty. Now, data fragmentation means it is ultimately what? It is dividing your table. It ultimately fragments your table into different relations. Means this R will be decomposed, or it can be fragmented in R1, R2, and till Rn. So this will be ultimately what? Divided. This R will be divided into R1, R2, Rn. It contains sufficient information to reconstruct any relation. Whenever you want this particular relation, you can always reconstruct. But how to fragment is again a challenge. When we have to divide any sort of database, how to divide that particular database? So for data fragmentation, we have two types. One is horizontal fragmentation and another one is vertical fragmentation. Okay, vertical fragmentation is ultimately what? Decomposition that we have studied in case of unit number 3. If you remember, okay, we have already studied decomposition. This decomposition is ultimately known as your vertical fragmentation, where normally your database is divided into different columns, group of columns. So I'll show you the example, and then probably you may recall the concept of this decomposition. There is basically in this particular data fragmentation, you will understand that there are two parts. One is horizontal fragmentation, another one is vertical fragmentation. As the name indicates, horizontal fragmentation means what? Means there will be a big database, and you will divide that particular database in horizontal manner. And here you will divide that database in vertical manner. Horizontal manner means what? You're ultimately talking about each tuple will be having, means there will be division in rows or tuples or records, and here you will work on directly on what the schemas means. Ultimately here you will divide the columns. So let's look at on what the next slide to understand what exactly how we can able to do the fragmentation, like horizontal fragmentation and vertical fragmentation. So fragmentation is only simple part is what? We have to divide the database into smaller parts, because in case of distributed database, we are talking about the bigger databases, right? So here we are observing the concept of horizontal fragmentation first. Now the concept of horizontal fragmentation is that suppose we have a relation R, okay, its name is, let's say, account. Its name is account. Suppose this R is there, and we are dividing this R, okay, we are dividing this R into two fragment. Okay, this is fragment number 1. Okay, this is fragment number 1, and this is fragment number 2. Okay, so let's say you may call it as R1. Okay, you may call it as R1, and this as a R2. This as a R2. So R is divided. This R is divided into R1 and R2. So likewise, and now you will understand that when there is table like account, you may remember the commands of what? The commands of relational algebra, where this account 1 is ultimately what? Your R1. Okay, account 1 is what? R1 is written like this. It has all the records having branch name Hillside. Okay, it is having all the records having branch name Hillside, means you are dividing branch wise. In case of account 2, okay, in case of account 2 means here R2 is what? Account 2. So here branch name will be value view. Okay, branch name will be value view, and you can see that here it is entirely divided into what? It is entirely divided into this particular branch name. Okay, that is value view. So this R is containing records of Hillside as well as value view, and we have divided this R into R1 and R2 using these commands. Okay, these commands are responsible to divide this particular database. So you can understand that this division is known as horizontal fragmentation. Now suppose we want this particular R back. Suppose we have divided R into R1 and R2. How will you get this R back? Simply what you need to do, you need to take union. Okay, how will you get this R? How will you get R again? Simply take union of what? R1 and R2. Okay, once you get what? The union. Okay, once you get, where is the union? See, I have written here. R will be there available by taking only union of R1 and R2. Once you take this union, you will get what? The original R. That's the way where horizontal fragmentation is working. We are dividing R into R1 and R2, and we can take union to get that particular R back. So you will get your R originally. So that's the concept of fragmentation. Now, why to do fragmentation, that will tell you after the concept of vertical fragmentation. I hope it is quite clear to you that horizontal fragmentation means what? You have to divide row wise. For example, if we have database of student, okay, so how will we divide the database of student? I can divide the database of students. Suppose I have database of T computer students. We can divide this database city wise. There are certain students, group of students are there from Chandwad, group of students are there from Manmad or Nasik or Lasalga or Pune or Mumbai or any other city. Okay, so likewise, city wise, we will what? Divide. At certain cities, the record will be null. At certain cities, the record can be more than one. So we will be having what? This R, that is T computer, will be divided city wise. So accordingly, we will be having what? Different records, but all the columns of that R will be there into each and every side, because we are ultimately dividing it horizontally. Means horizontal division or horizontal fragmentation means we are ultimately what? Cropping that particular data by row wise or record wise or tuple wise. So that's the concept of horizontal fragmentation. Let's look at on the concept of vertical fragmentation. Now the vertical fragmentation here, you can understand that suppose we have a table. Okay, vertical fragmentation means what? We have to vertically crop the table. Okay, or we have to vertically divide the table. So you can understand there is employee table, okay, which is treated as R here. Okay, that is employee table, and having the field name, branch name, customer name, then tuple ID. Then you can see that these are also the type, these are also the fields of what? R. And this R is divided into R1 and R2. And now you can see here the operation of relational algebra is pi, means projection. So projection is dividing the columns, and your selection will divide what? The selection will divide what? The rows. So that you need to understand. So all schema must contain common candidate key or super key to ensure lossless join property. I hope you remember lossless join property. Okay, so decomposition will be what? Lossless join decomposition. So ultimately you are dividing what? Here you can divide this particular table into, or this particular relation into vertical, and here you can understand that this tuple ID is common at both the end. This tuple ID, this particular field is common. So natural join between this table, that is R1 and R2, is again possible by using what? This natural join. So this is ultimately telling you that the schema must contain the common candidate key. That is important to ensure that you will get your R back. Again, a special attributes, that is the tuple ID, may be added to each schema to serve as candidate key. So here you can see, you can observe here the candidate key itself is what? Tuple ID. So that tuple ID is available here. So you may break this particular R into R1 and R2 or R3, R4 till Rn, but make sure that everywhere you need to repeat this tuple ID. Everywhere you need to repeat this tuple ID to ensure the lossless join decomposition. So my dear students, this is ultimately what vertical fragmentation, and we have seen this vertical fragmentation couple of times, and we were actually telling this concept as if you remember this particular concept, we were telling it as a decomposition. Okay, there is no change. Okay, there is no change. Whatever you have, if you understood decomposition, that decomposition is ultimately what? Your vertical fragmentation, where we are dividing table into the forms of columns. So that you need to understand. So once again, to just revise the concept, I'm simply repeating this particular part so that you will understand the importance of what this vertical as well as horizontal fragmentation. So again, understood the advantages of horizontal fragmentation and advantages of vertical fragmentation. Both have their own advantages. It depends on application where to use horizontal fragmentation or where to use vertical fragmentation. Nowadays, people are using third type, that is mixed fragmentation, which is combination of both this vertical as well as horizontal fragmentation. So certain data is divided based on horizontal and certain data is divided into what? The vertical fragmentation. So this is also known as mixed kind of fragmentation. Let's look at the advantage of both, that is horizontal fragmentation and vertical fragmentation. So horizontal fragmentation it allow parallel processing on fragments on a relation. Okay, it is allowing you to it is allowing you for what? The parallel processing. How parallel processing? Because your database, suppose I have database of what? City wise database I have or branch wise database I have. So I can work out parallelly on what that particular different databases. Okay, so parallelism is easily possible using horizontal fragmentation. Okay, it is also allowing you, okay, vertical fragmentation also parallel processing is possible on relation, where you can work out on some different columns. Here you can work out on different rows, and here you can work out on different rows, and here you can work out on what? Different columns. So that's the beauty in both. Second difference is it allow relation to be split so that the tuples are located where they are most frequently accessed. Okay, means, see that, for example, we are talking about banking enterprise. Okay, think about the bank. We have SBI, that is State Bank of India, everywhere. In almost every city, State Bank of India is available. Now if you are talking about Chandwad or your own city, SBI, that is State Bank of India, you can understand that the SBI of Chandwad will have the record of Chandwad people, because frequency of Chandwad people is more into that SBI than what the external people. Okay, external people may come, okay, they may visit, but you may understand that you have to, whenever you are doing any sort of changes, that changes should be made by your local branch. It is normally told into any of the SBI. Okay, why? Reason is very simple. Your actual data is located at your local branch, where modification can be done easily, but for transaction you can do that particular transaction from any of the SBI or any of the other bank. It is possible because we are talking about frequently accessed records, means your data, okay, the database at Chandwad SBI will be of the database of what? Chandwad people. So city wise, here I'm giving you an example, real life example of SBI, where you will get city wise record. The record of Chandwad will be there into Chandwad SBI. The record of Nasik will be there into what? Nasik SBI. Again in Nasik, there will be what? Division, where area wise division will be there. So likewise, you can divide the database, okay, into based on their own city or based on their own branch. Okay, now in case of vertical fragmentation, allow tuples to be split so that each part of the tuple is stored where it is most frequently accessed. For example, see that your entire detailed database, means your name, your address, your phone number, your mother's name, your father's number, entire data is available with college. But in case of university, your name and your seat number is enough, because that your name and seat number is what it is giving you entire information about you, and that based on that particular information you can see your results, you can give your examinations. So it is vertically fragmented. So major details are with college and some of the details are with university. So majority of the details will be with what college. Okay, let's say for example, if I'm talking about real life example, you will understand that Aadhaar card data, your entire Aadhaar card details are available with what Aadhaar card server. Okay, but whenever there is need of verification, what we are doing, we are simply mentioning our Aadhaar card number. Once we mention Aadhaar card number, that particular thing will get verified through that Aadhaar card server. So it means that it is vertical fragmentation, where I'm simply entering my Aadhaar card number. By entering that Aadhaar card number, it will be automatically mapped with my Aadhaar card database, which is located at some different server. So that's the beauty of both the fragmentation, that is horizontal and vertical. It depends on where exactly we are using, what kind of applications we are talking about. Fragments may be successively, the last statement is very, very important. The fragments may be successively fragmented to arbitrary depth. So it depends on the application, where to use horizontal fragmentation, where to use vertical fragmentation. But mind it, there is third type of fragmentation, mixed, which is known as mixed fragmentation, which use both horizontal as well as vertical fragmentation. We can call it as mixed fragmentation, or we can call it as hybrid fragmentation, where it is giving facility of horizontal and vertical fragmentation, so that we can add all these advantages of horizontal and vertical fragmentation into that mixed fragmentation. Now the next concept is data transparency. But before data transparency, I would like to tell you about data replication. That is again very, very important concept. Okay, so I'm talking about data replication. So that is important. Let's focus on what the topic that I'm talking about. I'm talking about data replication. Data replication means what? Suppose I have one database available somewhere. Suppose this is what the database. Okay, so suppose this is what the site 1, site 2, then site 3. These sites are available here, and let's say that these sites are connected to each other. Okay, these sites are connected to each other by using some network. Okay, by using some network. Let me draw that particular network so that you will understand the use of that particular network. Okay, suppose this is what the network that we have. Okay, this is the network, and all these sites are connected via this network. Okay, it is connected to this network, it is connected to this, and this is connected to it. Okay, suppose this is site 1 and it has its own database. So I'll simply draw some, consider that this is as a database. This is the database of this site, this is the database of this particular site, and this is the database of this particular site. So you will understand that here it is known as S1, site 1, here it is known as site 2, here it is known as site 3, that is S3. Okay, we have sites, and every site has their own databases. Okay, suppose this database is known as A. Okay, this is known as A. This is known as B. Okay, this particular database is known as B. This database is known as C. We have suppose 3 databases with us. Okay, we have 3 databases with us. We have A, B, and C. And I'm mentioning here, suppose it is C. Okay, it is C. So these 3 databases we have. Now there may be possibility that in case of data replication is telling you that, it is telling you that data can be, okay, we have to what? We have to replicate data at sites. Okay, so there are 2 types of replication, full replication or partial replication. Okay, full replication or partial replication. Now understand what is full replication. Full replication means what? Suppose we have data A. Okay, it should be available, its copy should be available at all the sites, that is S2 as well as what? S3. So what I will do here, I'll mark one more copy as A. Okay, I can say it is AC, or I can say it is CA. Copy of CA means what? It is copy of A. Okay, it is available here, as well as it is available at different location also. For example, also copying that particular part here. So C, that is CA, is also available here. This is also copy of what? A. Now with this, there will be copy of C also available. So CC will be available here. Copy of C. Okay. With this, copy of B will be available. Here, copy of B will also be available. Okay. And here, copy of B as well as C will also be available. Okay. Copy of B and copy of C both will be available. Now, dear friends, please focus properly so that you will understand. I'm talking about data replication. Okay. Today I'm talking about the concept that is data replication. Data replication means what? We have to make the copy of data, okay, that is database at one or more site. Okay. If we are copying that particular database everywhere, at every site, it is known as full replication. Full replication is this example I have given, where the copy of A is available at site 3. Okay, let me use different symbol so that it will be clear to you. Yeah, I'm using this particular symbol. See that copy of A will be available here, as well as copy of A will be available here. Means original copy is here. Okay, original copy is this, and its copy is available here as well as here. Okay, so that you will understand. Same, the copy of B, original copy is available here, but its copy is available at every site, that is site B, that is site S1, as well as what? Site S3. It is available. Similarly, C originally available here. Okay, C is originally available here, and its copy is available at both the site, that is S1 as well as what? S3. Means at everywhere, every site is available. Means at everywhere, every database is available. This is known as full replication. This is known as full replication. Now partial replication. Okay, now partial replication. Partial replication means what? Please focus on the concept. I'm talking about the partial replication. Partial replication means what? There may be possibility that A, this particular A can be available, this A can be available only at B. It may not be available at C. Now this B copy, I'm talking about actually this site. Okay, A is available at this site also. Okay, now the copy B will also be available at this site, but it may not be available at S1. Likewise, copy C will be available at this particular site. Means this copy will be available at this particular site. Means we are not copying this particular A, B, C at every site, but at particular site. That is known as partial. Means partial copies uske hum logon ne kya kiye hai? Bana ke rakhe hai. Now that depends on what? The application. So what your replication is telling you? Replication is telling you in simple words. Okay, it is telling you in simple words that the copy of database, okay, copy of database will be available at all sites in case of full replication, or maybe at more than one site. So friends, you should understand by this that replication says that we have to replicate that particular copy. Means iska backup copy jo bhi hai wo available hoga. Okay, now we are applying what? Data fragmentation. Okay, data fragmentation with data duplication. Now you will understand the concept. Data fragmentation and data duplication. At a time, we have to apply both. Now again, you need to focus on the diagram. Let's say I have diagram like site 1, site 2, the way we were having diagram. Okay, we have these 3 sites. Okay, these 3 sites are connected to each other. Okay, these 3 sites are connected to each other by using certain particular, let's say network. Suppose this is what the network, and every site is connected to that particular network. So I'm simply drawing that particular site. So it is connected, it is also connected, and this is also connected. 3 sites are connected. Every site has its own database. Okay, every site has its own database. So that also we have drawn. Okay, now here concept is that suppose I have database. Okay, I have database. Let's say I have database known as DB. Known as DB. Now this DB is fragmented. Okay, it is fragmented into different parts. Okay, it is fragmented into different parts. So I'm simply drawing its parts, that this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. These 3 parts are there of database. Okay, these 3 parts are there of database DB. So this is part 1, this is part 2, and this is part 3. Okay, and I'm simply write down here, this is what the part DB1. This is known as DB1. Okay, likewise, it is known as DB2. Likewise, it is known as DB3. So 3 parts of DB are there. This is known as fragmentation. Okay, this is known as fragmentation. So fragmentation is done here. Okay, by using this, we have done what? The fragmentation. Once the fragmentation is done, okay, what we need to do? We need to replicate these copies. Suppose DB1 is available here. Suppose your DB1 is available here. Suppose this is DB1. Okay, treat this symbol as DB1. It is available here. And you have also made the copy of DB1 here. Okay, now DB2, suppose I am taking DB2 by using this symbol. Let's say by this symbol, DB2 is there. It is available here as well as its copy is available here. So what I am doing? I am doing ultimately what? Data duplication or data replication, one and the same thing. Replication and duplication, data को आप दूसरी जगह पे क्या करते जा रहे हैं? Redundant उसको करते जा रहे हैं, because its copy should be available. Now the database 3. Now suppose I am taking database 3 in this particular fashion. Let's say this is the symbol for database 3. It is available here as well as it is available here, as well as I am copying that particular copy everywhere because I'm treating it as one of the important copy. So dear friends, you need to understand DB1. Okay, DB3 is actually by this particular symbol. Okay, then you will understand that DB2, okay, it is by this particular symbol, so that you will understand the symbolic notation. Then DB1 is by using this particular symbol, that is the this square symbol. So you may understand this is DB1 which is available here as well as at this particular site. Okay, so this is known as this is known as data replication as well as what? Replication or duplication. So what we are doing, we are combining data fragmentation as well as what? Data duplication or data replication. Replication is actually right word, so that you can use here. Okay, so you can combine data replication with data fragmentation, and this way you can create your own architecture that depends on application. Now, why to do this? Simple concept here is that when we are on internet, there may be possibility certain students are getting out. Okay, कुछ स्टूडेंट्स जो भी है वो यहाँ से निकल जाते हैं या डिस्कनेक्ट हो जाते हैं. सपोज यहाँ पर हम लोग अभी काम स्टार्ट किए हैं. ओके, कुछ एग्जीक्यूशन चल रहा है और एग्जीक्यूशन चलते चलते पता चला आपको कि यहाँ पर ये वाला जो साइट था, ओके, दैट इज साइट, दिस पर्टिकुलर साइट इज गेटिंग डाउन. ये डाउन हो गया तो इसका ये वाला रिकॉर्ड भी चला जाएगा, ये सारा चला जाएगा यहाँ से. दिस एंटायर थिंग विल गो. नाउ हाउ टू रन? उस साइट के ऊपर कौन सा डेटा था, तो आपको समझ में आएगा कि दैट पर्टिकुलर डेटा इज अवेलेबल एवरीवेयर. सी दैट इट इज अवेलेबल हियर, इट इज अवेलेबल हियर. सो आपके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि यहां पर जो भी एग्जीक्यूशन रहेगा वो एग्जीक्यूशन आपके पास दूसरे जो साइट पर है, यानी जो आपने डुप्लीकेट या रिप्लिकेट करके रखा हुआ है, वेयर यू विल गेट दिस पर्टिकुलर डेटा, एंड फ्रॉम दैट यू कैन एबल टू वर्क आउट विद दिस. So this is the beauty of data replication. So my dear students, you need to understand the concept of both, that is data replication as well as, okay, I'll make it as replication. Okay, duplication, replication एक ही बात है, concept वही है. Okay, you need to understand both the concepts. Now, why it is needed? मैंने उसका reason भी आपको बताया कि ये क्यों चाहिए. So we have seen its advantages. Advantages क्या है? Availability will be high. Okay, availability will be what? Very high. यानी क्या, कोई साइट, एक आध साइट यदि डाउन हो गया तो आपको वो डेटा दूसरी जगह से अवेलेबल हो जाएगा. दिस इज पॉइंट नंबर 1. सेकेंड एडवांटेज ऑफ दिस स्कीम ऑफ रिप्लिकेटिंग डेटा विल बी दैट, ओके, रिप्लिकेशन का बेनिफिट आपको दूसरा और क्या होगा? पैरेलल एग्जीक्यूशन इज पॉसिबल. यानी क्या, मान लीजिए आपके साइट 1 पर जो डेटा अवेलेबल है, सपोज साइट 1 के ऊपर ए अवेलेबल है, ओके, एंड इट्स कॉपी इज अवेलेबल एट साइट 2। उस केस में आप साइट 2 पर जो डेटा अवेलेबल है ए के ऊपर, आप क्या कर सकते हैं, S2 के ऊपर भी ऑपरेशन कर सकते हैं और S1 के ऊपर भी ऑपरेशन कर सकते हैं। एट ए टाइम दोनों जगह पे ऑपरेशन कर सकते हैं। दैट इज नोन एज पैरेलल एग्जीक्यूशन। सो दैट इज अगेन वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कंसेप्ट डियर स्टूडेंट्स। ओके, सो ये दोनों जो भी है, these are the advantages of data replication. Now there is downside of what this or disadvantage of data replication is that, suppose आपके पास यहां पर क्या है, आपने क्या किया है, ए का जो कॉपी है, ओके, ए का जो कॉपी है वो S1 पर भी है और ए का कॉपी S2 पर भी है। ओके, आपने जैसे ही इसको मॉडिफाई किया, सपोज यू हैव मॉडिफाइड द कॉपी ऑफ ए, आपने ये वाला कॉपी क्या कर दिया, मॉडिफाई किया। ओके, जैसे आपने ये मॉडिफाई किया, आपको ये वाला जो भी मॉडिफिकेशन है, ये क्या करना पड़ेगा, कम्युनिकेट करना पड़ेगा, कहां पर, S2 को भी। S2 को भी क्या करना पड़ेगा, कम्युनिकेट करना पड़ेगा। मींस wherever the copy of A is available, you need to update that particular copy also, and that will be one of the costly operation. गलती से भी आपसे एक आध कॉपी यदि प्रॉपरली आप लोगों ने उसको यदि मेंटेन नहीं किया रहेगा, तो आपको क्या होगा, पुराना कॉपी जो भी है वहां से मिल सकता है। सो दिस इज व्हाट द अपडेशंस ऑफ कॉपीज कैन बी कॉस्टली। Okay, can be costly operation. So that is what one of the disadvantages of data replication. आप सभी लोगों को पता है कि हम लोग हमेशा क्या कर रहे हैं, आप लोग देखिए कोई भी पर्टिकुलर बैंक में आप या कोई कहीं पे भी आप लोग चले जाओ, बैकअप कॉपी आप बना के रखते हैं। आपके इंपॉर्टेंट जो भी मार्कशीट्स है उसकी भी आप बैकअप कॉपी बना के रखते हैं। लेकिन जैसे ही कुछ मॉडिफिकेशन उस पर्टिकुलर ओरिजिनल कॉपी में हुआ, वैसा ही मॉडिफिकेशन आपको फिर से उसका जेरोक्स कॉपी बना के फिर से आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा, आपके बक्से में, आपके कबर्ड में उसको क्या करना पड़ेगा, रखना पड़ेगा। दैट इज अल्टीमेटली नोन एज updation of copy. So updation is again very very important. This is the only drawback of data replication. Another part of data replication है क्या, आपको डिवाइड करके वहां जा जाके कॉपी करना पड़ेगा, थोड़ा बहुत ऑपरेशंस कॉस्ट वहां पर भी आपको पड़ेगा। बट डिपेंड्स ऑन एप्लीकेशन, आप तय कर सकते हैं कि रिप्लिकेशन आपको फुल यूज करना है या रिप्लिकेशन आपको हाफ यूज करना है। So this is what from my end today, dear students. I have tried to cover, okay, I have tried to cover the distributed concept of distributed databases, okay, concept of distributed system, that I have cleared you today. Okay, then I have told you about fragmentation. It's both the types, that is ultimately your horizontal fragmentation and vertical fragmentation. After that, I have told you about replication. Okay, so replication is ultimately full replication or partial replication. And I have told you the advantages of both, that is fragmentation as well as replication. Dear students, if you have any doubt, you can please ask. Meanwhile, I'm sharing the link of attendance. Today's attendance link is new, so old cannot be used. Okay, so I'm sharing this on chat window right away. Same I am sharing with what the people, those who are on YouTube. If you have doubt, you can please ask your doubts or you can post it on chat window. I'll be happy if somebody will unmute and tell me that what I have taught you today. Can anyone will summarize what I taught you today? आज क्या सिखाया मैंने, आप लोगों में से कोई समराइज करके बताएगा what I have taken today? अनम्यूट नहीं करते आ रहा होगा ना आपको शायद. लेट मी चेक. Let me allow you to unmute. Now you can unmute yourself, okay? And I'll be happy if somebody from you will unmute and tell me what are the topics that I have covered today. कौन से टॉपिक मैंने कवर किए? सिंपल क्वेश्चन. Anyone?
Data replication.
Okay, link is not working.
Yes, sir, it is working.
Link is working, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Oh, so today again there is problem to some of the members.
Working, sir.
Working,
Working,
sir.
sir.
No, sir. Not working, sir.
Okay, so those who are facing issue, I'll again request you to share. Okay, let me know your name as well as what your class on my personal WhatsApp so that I'll mark your attendance. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. If you have doubt or somebody, I'll be happy if somebody will tell me what topics I have covered today.
Horizontal fragmentation.
Can anyone? Dear friends, have you all subscribed my YouTube channel?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can anyone will tell me today like what topics I have taught you today? आप में से कोई बता पाएगा कौन से टॉपिक मैंने आज पढ़ाया है? Anyone? That's great. Rahul already answered it on what the chat window. Fantastic. Can anyone will unmute and tell me? आप सभी लोग अटेंड करते हैं ना लेक्चर ईमानदारी से या सिंपली कनेक्ट हो जाते हैं और चले जाते हैं इधर उधर? Friends, anyone can unmute and tell me what topics I have covered. Fast, you are wasting your and my time also. Whenever you are getting opportunity, you should always grab it. Grab the opportunity. Okay, no problem, Rahul. Other students can take the advantage, other student can speak. Raksha, don't worry about your attendance. I have already told you, those who are facing problem of attendance, you can always write to me on WhatsApp. I'll definitely mark your attendance. Don't worry. Yes, can anyone will unmute and tell me what topics I have covered today? Only one student is aware, rest all are sleeping or what? Can you please on your camera? Can you please on your camera? I just wanted to see you all. Dear students, आपका कैमरा ऑन कीजिए. Wanted to see you all. Okay, I can see Rahul. Rest all are sleeping or what? Yeah, Shivani is there. Bhumika is there. Mansi is there. Shubham is there. Sandesh is there. Saurabh is there. Snehal is there. Akanksha is there. Sneha is there. Pranjal is also there. Where is other students? Arti is also there. Raksha is also there. Darshan is there. Okay, Sakshi is also there. Bhakti is also there. Rushali is there. Then Nikita is there. Akash is there. Rupali is there. Shelar, Harshali is there. Kajal is also there. Ashwini is there. Samkit is there. Mrunal is there. Then Sanjana is also there. Sakshi, Shubhangi, then Niharika, Kajal, Chaitali is there. Pranjal is there, but Pranjal is discussing with someone. Okay. Then बाकी लोग कहाँ गए? Okay, Vrushali is also there. Bhagesh is there. Rest all are sleeping or they are facing problem of camera. You can see that the students are there. Okay, Sandesh is also there. Okay, आप में से और किसी का नाम लेना भूल गया क्या मैं? I have taken the names of everyone. Okay, happy to see you all, my dear friends. Okay, Diwali is coming. Okay, be Indian, buy Indian. Try to support Indians. Okay, say no to China. China material. Go with Indian material this time. We have to support everyone because we know the entire issue is there as far as economy is concerned. So in this Diwali, try to be Indian, buy Indian only. I know that you all are using branded dresses and all, but this time try to use Indian dresses as well as what Indian culture. I'll be happy to see you in what that Indian culture only. Okay, so my dear students, thanks to you for attending the sessions. If you are facing any sort of difficulties, doubts, please raise your hand always or put your doubts on the chat window or on Google Classroom. Thank you all. Bye-bye. If you have anything to say, you can say. आप में से किसी को कुछ बोलना है तो आप बोल सकते हैं.
सर हैप्पी दिवाली सर.
All right. Thank you, friends. Bye-bye. See you.